Hello, friend. Welcome to Science for Sleep. Tonight, we're spending some quiet time with something very old, very simple, and very familiar. Tea. Tea is one of the most widely consumed drinks on Earth, second only to water. Yet for something so common, it carries an unusually long memory. It has moved slowly through centuries, across mountains and oceans, through kitchens, monasteries, ships, and small daily routines. And interestingly, some of the drinks many people think of as tea aren't actually tea at all. Chamomile, peppermint, rooibos. They're often brewed the same way, held in the same cups, and enjoyed during the same quiet moments. But botanically, they come from entirely different plants. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, you're welcome to subscribe. And if it feels natural, to leave a comment sharing where you're listening from tonight. It helps others find their way to this calm corner of the world, one sleepy traveler at a time. At some point today, someone boiled water. Someone waited. Someone poured it gently over leaves. And without much thought, a cup of tea became part of the rhythm of the day. Tea does not rush. It asks for heat, patience, and time. It requires you to pause, even briefly, while it becomes itself. For thousands of years, people have been doing almost the exact same thing. Heating water, steeping leaves, waiting quietly. Long before tea was sold in bags or tins, it was gathered from evergreen shrubs growing on misty hillsides. The leaves were picked by hand, dried in the sun, and brewed for medicine before they were ever enjoyed for taste. Early tea drinkers did not rush the experience. They observed how it felt in the body. They noticed warmth spreading slowly. They paid attention to how alertness softened instead of spiking. Even today, tea carries that same gentle quality. It warms without overwhelming. It wakes without jolting. It fills space without demanding attention. There is also something deeply repetitive about tea. The sound of water heating, the steam rising, the quiet clink of ceramic, the familiar weight of a cup held between the hands. Repetition signals safety to the brain. Predictable actions performed the same way again and again help reduce uncertainty. Tea has always been a predictable companion in human life. It shows up in the morning, in the afternoon, and sometimes late in the evening, when the day has already started to loosen its grip. Across cultures, tea became a shared pause. In China, scholars drank it while reading and writing. In Japan, it evolved into a careful ceremony built around stillness and respect. In Britain, it became a social reset, a reason to stop and sit. In many homes, tea simply became what you reached for when nothing else was needed. The chemistry of tea is part of why it feels this way. Tea contains caffeine, but it also contains an amino acid called L-theanine. Together, they create a state often described as calm alertness. The body feels awake, but not tense. The mind stays present without being pushed. Warm liquids also have a measurable effect on the nervous system. Heat activates receptors in the mouth and throat that are associated with comfort and relaxation. This is one reason warm drinks are often chosen during moments of rest, reflection, or quiet recovery. But tea is not only chemistry, it is context. It is often made at the same time each day, in the same cup, in the same place. Those patterns matter. The brain learns them, and over time, it associates tea with slowing down. Tonight, we are not rushing through facts. We are letting them arrive gently, one at a time, like leaves settling at the bottom of a cup. Tea has been brewed during moments of work and moments of rest. It has been present during conversations and during silence. It has accompanied early mornings and late nights. And no matter how busy the world became, tea remained unchanged. Leaves, water, time. Tonight, we'll explore the long, unhurried story behind tea. Its origins, its science, its rituals, and the quiet way it has stayed with us through history. There's nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to prepare. I'm glad you're here. Tea begins with a single plant. Not a category, not a blend, not a feeling, but a living evergreen species that has been quietly growing for millions of years. That plant is called Camellia sinensis. Every true tea in the world comes from it. Green tea, black tea, oolong, white tea, all from the same leaves. The differences come later, from time, from air, from heat, from the way the leaves are handled after they are picked. Tea plants grow as shrubs or small trees with glossy dark green leaves that stay on the plant year-round. They prefer misty hillsides, well-drained soil, and climates where warmth and moisture move gently together. In the wild, tea plants can grow tall and wide, living for decades. In cultivation, they are kept low, trimmed carefully, so their youngest leaves are always within reach. Those young leaves matter. The newest growth at the tip of each branch contains the highest concentration of chemical compounds that give tea its flavor and effect. Caffeine, polyphenols, amino acids like L-theanine. When tea leaves are picked, they begin to change almost immediately. Enzymes inside the leaf react with oxygen in the air. This process is called oxidation. Oxidation is not decay, it is transformation. Green tea is barely oxidized. Black tea is fully oxidized. Oolong rests somewhere in between. White tea is often the least processed of all, dried gently with minimal handling. Nothing is added, nothing is removed. Only time and exposure are adjusted. This is one reason tea has remained so consistent across history. Its creation does not depend on technology, only on observation. Long before people understood chemistry, they understood cause and effect. Leaves left in the air change color. Leaves heated stopped changing. Leaves dried slowly tasted different from leaves dried quickly. Tea became an early lesson in patience. What many people call tea is actually something else. Chamomile, peppermint, rooibos. These are herbal infusions, not true tea. They come from flowers, roots, seeds, and leaves of many different plants. They can be calming. They can be warm and familiar. But they are not tea in the botanical sense. True tea is singular. One plant, many expressions. Inside each tea leaf is a quiet balance. Caffeine stimulates the nervous system. L-theanine tempers that stimulation. Polyphenols influence taste and color, but also interact with the body in subtle ways. Because of this balance, tea often produces a feeling of alertness without agitation. The mind feels awake, but not pushed. Present, but not strained. This balance is part of why tea has been favored by monks, scholars, and craftspeople throughout history. It supported attention without pulling the body into urgency. water completes the process. When hot water meets dried tea leaves, heat loosens the cell walls. Compounds dissolve into the liquid. Flavor, aroma, and chemistry move from leaf to cup. Temperature matters. Water that is too hot can release bitterness. Water that is too cool may leave much behind. Over time, people learned to adjust temperature intuitively, long before thermometers existed. Tea does not need perfection. It tolerates variation. It forgives inconsistency. That forgiveness made it easy to adopt, easy to repeat, easy to pass down. Across cultures, tea became a shared understanding rather than a fixed recipe. Everyone brewed it slightly differently, and that was acceptable. At its core, tea is simple. Leaves and water, change and patience. Everything else came later. Even now, when tea is packaged, flavored, and marketed, the essential process remains unchanged. Somewhere, leaves are still being picked, still being dried, still waiting quietly to be steeped. Tea does not announce itself. It becomes ready slowly, and that quiet readiness is part of what the mind responds to. Tea is not a performance. It is a process that unfolds whether anyone is watching or not. And as it has for centuries, it continues to do what it has always done, transforming heat and time into something gentle enough to return to again and again. Tea did not begin as a beverage. It began as a leaf growing quietly in warm, mountainous regions of what is now southwestern China. Long before written records, tea plants grew wild along forest edges and misty slopes. Rain moved through the leaves. Fog settled in the mornings. The soil stayed rich and well drained. These conditions allowed tea shrubs to thrive without human care. Early humans noticed the plant not because of its taste, but because of its effects. When the leaves were steeped in hot water, the liquid felt different in the body. It warmed slowly. It cleared the mind without overstimulating it. It seemed to support alertness without agitation. The earliest stories about tea come from legend rather than documentation. One well-known Chinese legend describes an emperor and herbalist named Shen Nong, who was said to test plants for medicinal properties. According to the story, tea leaves accidentally fell into boiling water, creating a drink that felt both cleansing and restorative. Whether the story is literal or symbolic, it reflects something important. Tea was first valued as medicine. In ancient China, boiling water was already common as a way to make it safer to drink. Adding leaves to hot water was a natural extension of herbal practice. Many early infusions were bitter, strong, and consumed for their effects rather than their pleasure. Tea fit easily into this world. It was mild compared to other medicinal brews. It did not overwhelm the body. It did not cause discomfort when taken regularly. Over time, people began to drink tea not only when they felt unwell, but when they wanted steadiness. Before long walks, before long periods of work, before meditation. Tea plants were eventually brought closer to settlements and cultivated intentionally. Farmers observed which plants produced the most pleasant leaves. They learned when to harvest. They noticed that younger leaves produced smoother infusions. The geography mattered. Tea thrived at higher elevations where cooler temperatures slowed growth. Slower growth allowed more chemical compounds to develop in the leaves. This resulted in deeper flavor and a more balanced effect. This relationship between environment and tea remains true today. Altitude still influences taste, soil still matters, weather still shapes the leaf. As tea cultivation expanded, it followed natural pathways, along rivers, through valleys, across mountain passes. Tea did not spread quickly. It moved at the speed of walking, carrying, and trading. Leaves were dried to make them lighter and easier to transport. This drying also made tea more stable and less perishable. By the time tea became widely known, it was already shaped by centuries of quiet observation. Nothing about its preparation was rushed. Each step existed because someone noticed what happened when they waited a little longer or changed one small detail. Tea did not demand attention. It earned trust. That trust allowed it to move beyond medicine and into daily life. Not as something dramatic, but as something reliable. Even now, tea plants grow much as they always have. Rooted, evergreen, responding to rain, light, and time. The places where tea first appeared were not loud or fast. They were landscapes shaped by gradual change, and tea, from the very beginning, followed the same pattern. As tea became familiar, it slowly moved from medicine into daily life. Not all at once, not dramatically, but through quiet repetition. In ancient China, tea found a natural place among scholars, monks, and officials whose days were shaped by long periods of attention. Writing, reading, copying texts, meditation. Tea supported these activities without interrupting them. Early tea was not brewed the way it is today. The leaves were often steamed, compressed into cakes, and later ground into powder. That powder was whisked into hot water, creating a thick, frothy drink that was consumed slowly. Preparation itself became part of the experience. Over time, tea houses appeared as calm public spaces. They were not loud gathering places. They were meant for conversation that unfolded gently, or for sitting quietly without obligation. Tea houses offered shelter from heat, rain, and the pace of daily work. Tea also became associated with learning. Scholars drank tea while studying for imperial examinations that could determine the course of an entire life. The drink did not dull awareness. It sharpened it without tension. This association shaped how tea was viewed. It became a drink of discipline rather than indulgence. A companion to thought, not distraction. During the Tang dynasty, tea culture expanded rapidly. This period saw the writing of the first known book entirely devoted to tea. The text described where tea grew best, how it should be prepared, and how it should be consumed. It treated tea not as a novelty, but as something worthy of careful attention. The act of preparing tea became more refined. Water quality mattered. The vessel mattered. Timing mattered. Yet the tone remained calm. There was no urgency to perfect the process, only a desire to understand it. Tea gatherings during this time were often quiet affairs. Participants observed the color of the liquid. They noticed aroma. They paid attention to how the body responded. This observational approach mirrored broader Chinese philosophy. Nature was something to align with, not control. Tea fit naturally into this worldview. As tea spread through different regions of China, styles changed. Some areas favored lighter teas. Others preferred deeper, roasted flavors. Local water influenced taste. Local climate shaped the leaf. There was no single correct way to drink tea. This flexibility helped tea endure. Tea also carried symbolic meaning. It represented simplicity, restraint, balance. Offering tea to a guest became a sign of respect. Not because tea was expensive, but because it required time. To serve tea was to pause what you were doing and attend to someone else. Even in moments of formality, tea softened interactions. It created space between words. Moments where silence felt natural rather than awkward. Across centuries, tea remained steady, while dynasties rose and fell. It outlasted politics. It remained when fashions changed. The leaves stayed the same. Water stayed the same. People continued to wait while tea steeped. In this way, tea became woven into cultural memory, not as spectacle, but as continuity, something that could be returned to again and again, without effort or explanation. And as Chinese culture evolved, tea remained quietly present, carrying forward its original purpose: to support attention, to soften the pace of living, to bring warmth without excess. It did not try to be more than it was, and because of that, it stayed. Tea did not travel quickly. It moved the same way it had always moved, gradually. As tea became a steady presence in China, it began to follow the paths already carved by human movement. Trade routes, pilgrimage roads, mountain passes worn smooth by footsteps and animals. Bundles of dried leaves were light enough to carry and stable enough to last. This made tea ideal for long journeys. Unlike fresh food, it did not spoil quickly. Unlike alcohol, it did not dull awareness. Merchants carried tea alongside silk, salt, and paper. Monks carried it as part of their daily practice. Travelers learned that tea made boiled water more pleasant to drink during long crossings. Tea entered Korea and Japan through cultural exchange rather than conquest. It arrived with monks who had studied in Chinese temples and returned home with new habits. Tea was first consumed in monasteries, where long hours of meditation required a calm, wakeful state. In these settings, tea found its purpose immediately. It supported stillness. It sharpened awareness without agitation. It did not demand attention. Japanese monks refined tea drinking into a ritual that emphasized order, care, and presence. Every movement slowed. Every action became deliberate. Tea was no longer just consumed. It was practiced. In Korea, tea blended into existing traditions of hospitality and reflection. It became part of seasonal rituals and quiet gatherings. The emphasis remained on simplicity and balance. As tea moved south into parts of Southeast Asia, it adapted again. Different climates produced different leaves. Different tastes shaped preparation. Sometimes tea was fermented, sometimes roasted, sometimes mixed with other ingredients. Tea did not resist change. It absorbed it. What remained consistent was its role. Tea was rarely associated with excess. It was not meant to intoxicate. It was meant to steady. Across Asia, tea houses began to appear in places of transit, along roads, near ports, at the edges of markets. They offered rest without obligation, a place to sit, a place to wait. In these spaces, Tea softened the movement of people. Conversations slowed. Journeys paused. Tea also became a bridge between social roles. It could be shared between elders and students, between strangers, between hosts and guests. Because tea was simple, it was inclusive. It did not require wealth to enjoy, only time. As generations passed, tea traditions deepened. Each culture layered its own meaning onto the same basic act: heating water, steeping leaves, waiting. Tea spread across Asia was not driven by novelty. It was driven by usefulness. It fit into daily life without disruption. It supported work, study, rest, and ritual equally well. Even today, tea culture across Asia reflects this history. The drinks may look different, the flavors may vary, but the underlying rhythm remains the same. Tea arrives quietly. It stays without insisting. And when it leaves no disruption behind. That gentle adaptability is what allowed tea to cross borders without losing itself. It did not need to announce where it came from, only to be brewed. And so, step by step, cup by cup, tea continued outward. When tea arrived in Japan, it did not remain just a drink. It became a practice. Japanese tea culture grew slowly, shaped by Zen Buddhism and a deep respect for simplicity. Tea was not something to consume while doing something else. It was something to do fully, without distraction. The Japanese tea ceremony, known as chanoyu, developed as a structured way to prepare and share tea. Every movement was considered. Every object had a place. Nothing was accidental. The ceremony did not aim to impress. It aimed to reduce. The tea room itself was small and quiet, often entered through a low doorway that required guests to bow, reminding everyone to leave status and urgency outside. Inside, the space was uncluttered. Simple walls, natural materials, soft light. In this setting, tea preparation became a sequence of repeated actions. Water was heated, utensils were cleaned slowly and visibly. Tea was measured, whisked, and served with calm precision. Repetition is central to the ceremony. The same motions are performed again and again, across years of practice. This repetition reduces novelty, and with it, mental noise. The mind does not need to anticipate what comes next. It already knows. Silence is equally important. Conversation is minimal or absent. Attention shifts from words to movement, to sound, to timing. The soft scrape of the whisk, the pour of water, the placement of a bowl. These sounds are gentle and predictable. They give the nervous system a steady rhythm to follow. Tea in this context is not about flavor alone. It is about awareness. Drinking becomes secondary to preparing. The act itself carries meaning. Guests are not entertained, they are present. Shared attention replaces conversation. Everyone watches the same movements. Everyone waits together. Time feels less divided. This shared focus has a measurable effect on perception. When external input is limited and predictable, the brain reduces vigilance. There is less scanning for change, less anticipation of interruption. Moments stretch, seconds feel fuller. The ceremony also emphasizes imperfection. Utensils may be asymmetrical. Bowls may show wear. These details remind participants that nothing needs to be flawless to be complete. This acceptance further reduces mental tension. There is nothing to fix, nothing to improve. Tea ceremonies were often practiced in the early morning or late afternoon, when light is soft and energy naturally dips. This timing supports calm awareness rather than stimulation. Over generations, the tea ceremony became a way to practice stillness within structure, a method of slowing the world without stopping it entirely. Even outside formal ceremonies, this influence shaped everyday tea drinking in Japan. Tea was prepared with care, consumed without hurry, integrated into daily routines as a quiet anchor. Tea, in this context, was never meant to energize through intensity. It steadied through restraint. By turning tea into a practice rather than a product, Japanese culture preserved its original quality: attention without urgency, structure without pressure. The ceremony did not add meaning to tea. It revealed what was already there. And in doing so, it showed how something as simple as leaves and water could become a space where time softened and the mind followed. Tea entered the West slowly, carried by distance, curiosity, and long stretches of waiting. It arrived not as a daily habit, but as something rare, something unfamiliar, something that had traveled a very long way. The first Europeans to encounter tea did so through trade with Asia. Dried leaves arrived packed carefully to survive months at sea. By the time they reached European ports, they already carried the sense of having come from somewhere far removed from ordinary life. At first, tea was treated as medicine. It was sold in apothecaries rather than kitchens. Doctors and herbalists described its effects in measured terms: improved digestion, gentle stimulation, a feeling of clarity without heaviness. Because tea was expensive and difficult to obtain, it was consumed slowly. Small quantities were brewed carefully. Every cup mattered. This scarcity shaped how tea was perceived. It was not something to drink absent-mindedly. It was something to sit with. In the early years, tea was most often consumed by the upper classes, not because it was inherently luxurious, but because distance made it so. The long journey across oceans added time, risk, and cost. Tea became associated with refinement, with reading, with conversation held at a quieter pace. Unlike wine or spirits, tea did not alter behavior dramatically. It did not loosen speech or blur judgment. This made it appealing in social settings where restraint was valued. As trade routes stabilized, tea became more available. Ships returned more reliably. Supply increased. Price slowly decreased. Tea houses began to appear in European cities. These were not taverns. They were calmer spaces. People gathered there to drink tea, read newspapers, and talk without urgency. The atmosphere was quieter, the pace slower. Tea supported this environment naturally. Hot liquid encouraged sipping rather than gulping. The need to wait for brewing created pauses in conversation. Steam rose gently, adding warmth without noise. Over time, tea shifted from being a medicinal curiosity to a social habit. It moved from shelves behind counters into cups on tables. This transition did not happen all at once. Old beliefs lingered. Tea was still described in terms of balance and moderation. Its effects on the body were noted with interest. One reason tea adapted so well to Western life was its flexibility. It could be consumed alone or shared, in silence or conversation, in the morning or afternoon. Tea did not demand a specific setting. It fit into many. As it spread, preparation methods changed. Loose leaves were brewed in pots rather than ground into powder. Milk and sugar were added in some regions, softening bitterness and making tea more familiar to new drinkers. These additions altered flavor, but not the underlying rhythm. Tea was still brewed slowly, still served warm, still required waiting. The act of waiting mattered. When water heated over a flame, there was time to think, or not think. When tea steeped, there was nothing to do but allow it to happen. In a world that was becoming increasingly busy, tea offered a pause that felt acceptable, even productive. People could rest without appearing idle. They were drinking tea. Gradually, tea moved out of specialty spaces and into homes. It became something kept on hand, something expected. This familiarity changed its meaning again. Tea no longer needed explanation. It was simply there. Yet despite this shift, tea never lost its association with calm. It remained quieter than coffee, less indulgent than alcohol. Its effects were subtle, its presence steady. By the time tea was firmly established in Western life, it had already adapted many times, from medicine to luxury, from novelty to habit. Through each change, it retained its essential quality, a drink that asks for patience, a drink that unfolds slowly. Tea did not arrive in the West to disrupt routines. It slipped into them, and once there, it stayed. Not because it demanded attention, but because it made space. Space for warmth, space for pause, space for time to soften, even briefly. That quiet adaptability is what allowed tea to move from distant ports into everyday life. And it is why, once it arrived, it never truly left. Tea did not simply arrive in Britain, it settled in. Over time, it became woven into the structure of daily life so thoroughly that it no longer felt imported or foreign. It felt expected. When tea first appeared in Britain, it was expensive and reserved for the upper classes. But as supply increased and prices fell, tea moved steadily into households across social lines. By the 18th century, it was no longer unusual. It was becoming essential. One reason tea fit so easily into British life was timing. Tea found its place in the afternoon, a moment when energy naturally dips and attention begins to soften. This space between meals, between obligations, became the ideal setting for tea. Afternoon tea was not about indulgence. It was about pause. A kettle was put on. Cups were set out. Time slowed, briefly. This pause became formalized. Afternoon tea turned into a recognizable ritual with predictable elements. The same vessels, the same movements, the same gentle order. Predictability matters to the nervous system. When the body knows what comes next, it relaxes. Tea breaks became a way to regulate the day. They created natural boundaries between tasks. Work stopped. Tea was made. Then work resumed. This pattern reduced fatigue, not because tea provided energy alone, but because it provided structure. Another factor was substitution. Before tea became widespread, Many people drank ale or other alcoholic beverages throughout the day. This was partly because water was unsafe, but it also reflected habit. Tea changed that. Boiled water made drinking safer. Tea made it pleasant. As tea replaced ale, daily life became quieter. Alertness increased. Coordination improved. Tea supported work rather than interfering with it. Kettles became common household objects. Their presence meant hot water was always close at hand. This accessibility reinforced the habit. The sound of a kettle beginning to boil became familiar, a signal rather than an interruption. Cups and teapots also became standardized. Ceramic retained heat. Handles protected hands. Design evolved to support comfort. Over time, these objects became symbols of domestic calm. They appeared in kitchens, sitting rooms, and workplaces. Tea was not just drunk, it was expected. This expectation created social permission to rest. Stopping to make tea was not considered laziness. It was practical, even responsible. In moments of stress, the phrase "put the kettle on" became a way to slow things down without explanation. The act itself was enough. Tea also played a role in conversation. It filled gaps. It softened silences. It gave people something to do with their hands while words arrived slowly. Because tea is sipped rather than consumed quickly, it stretches time. A cup cannot be rushed without effort. This slowness shaped how gatherings unfolded. Visits lasted longer. Discussions felt less hurried. Tea did not dominate social life. It supported it. As generations passed, tea became associated with comfort and familiarity. It was present during celebrations and during difficulty. It appeared during ordinary afternoons and quiet evenings. This consistency reinforced emotional association. Tea became linked with safety and routine. Even the preparation of tea carried meaning. Measuring leaves or placing a bag in a cup, waiting for the kettle, pouring water. These actions repeated thousands of times across a lifetime. Repetition trains the brain. It creates expectation. An expectation reduces stress. Scientifically, warm beverages have been shown to promote relaxation through sensory pathways. The warmth in the hands and mouth sends signals associated with comfort. Steam carries aroma upward, gently engaging smell without intensity. Tea contains caffeine, but in lower amounts than coffee. It also contains L-theanine, which moderates stimulation. This combination supports calm alertness rather than urgency. This balance suited British daily rhythms. Tea could be consumed multiple times without overwhelming the body. Over time, tea ceased to be remarkable, and in doing so, it became deeply rooted. It did not stand out. It stayed. Tea in Britain became less about novelty and more about continuity, something that could be relied upon when everything else shifted. Even today, tea remains a cultural constant. It is offered to guests, made during breaks, reached for during moments of uncertainty. Tea does not promise solutions, it offers presence. A cup, a pause, a familiar warmth. And in that quiet offering, it continues to shape the rhythm of everyday life. As tea became familiar in Europe, the systems that moved it began to grow larger and more complex. What had once traveled slowly by hand now moved in bulk across oceans, guided by schedules, ships, and contracts. tea entered an age of scale. The demand for tea increased steadily. More households drank it daily. More breaks depended on it. More routines were built around its presence. To meet this demand, trade routes expanded. Ships left Asian ports carrying tightly packed chests of dried leaves. They crossed vast distances, navigating changing weather, long months at sea, and uncertain arrival times. Tea's durability made this possible. Because the leaves were dried, they could withstand the journey without spoiling. They waited quietly in darkness, protected from moisture, unchanged by time. This waiting mirrored tea's nature. It did not rush to arrive. It endured. As trade intensified, companies formed to manage the flow. Tea became a commodity measured by weight, price, and volume. Ledgers replaced oral exchange. Schedules replaced intuition. Yet even as systems grew larger, the leaf itself did not change. It remained sensitive to air, heat, and handling. Care still mattered. To ensure consistency, tea cultivation expanded beyond its original regions. Plantations were established in new climates that could support the plant. Hillsides were cleared. Tea bushes were planted in long rows, trimmed to uniform height. This marked a shift. Tea moved from small-scale cultivation to organized production. Labor became central to this process. Tea harvesting required careful hands. Young leaves had to be picked selectively. Too much pressure bruised the leaf. Too little left it behind. The scale increased, but the work remained slow and repetitive. Leaves were still picked one by one. Once harvested, tea was processed on-site. Withering rooms allowed leaves to lose moisture. Rolling released internal compounds. Oxidation was monitored closely. Drying locked in the final character. Small changes made large differences. A few extra minutes of oxidation could shift flavor. Slight variations in heat altered aroma. This sensitivity required attention even at scale. As global trade networks expanded, tea became more accessible. Prices dropped. Availability increased. What had once been rare became ordinary. This accessibility changed daily life. Tea was no longer saved for special moments. It became something you reached for without thought. Despite the economic system surrounding it, tea retained its quiet role at the individual level. In homes, tea was still brewed one cup at a time. In kitchens, kettles still boiled. Waiting still occurred. This contrast is important. Large systems moved tea across continents. Small moments consumed it slowly. Even as tea became entangled with global trade, it did not become loud. It did not change how it was drunk. It did not demand more attention. In many places, tea plantations became part of the landscape. Rows of evergreen bushes followed the curves of hills. Morning mist settled over leaves. Harvest cycles repeated with the seasons. Tea plants are long-lived. With proper care, they can produce leaves for decades. This longevity supported continuous harvest without constant replanting. Climate and geography played a role. Higher elevations slowed growth. Slower growth concentrated flavor. Regions learned which slopes produced the most balanced leaves. Over time, tea-producing areas developed distinct identities. Not through branding at first, but through repetition. The same soil, the same rain, the same patterns year after year. These patterns influence taste. Even as tea became globally traded, it remained locally shaped. By the time tea was fully embedded in global commerce, it had already proven something important. It could exist within large systems without losing its original function. At the end of every trade route, tea still returned to the same place. A cup, a pause, a moment of warmth. Colonial trade changed how tea moved through the world. It increased speed, it increased scale, but it did not change why people drank tea. Tea was not consumed for novelty, it was consumed for steadiness. Even as ships crossed oceans to deliver it, tea remained what it had always been. Leaves that waited patiently, water that needed time to heat, a drink that unfolded slowly, and when poured, it asked for the same thing it always had: to wait. At the center of every cup of tea is a living plant that has changed very little over time. The tea plant is evergreen. It does not lose its leaves in winter. It remains active year-round, responding slowly to light, rain, and temperature. This constancy is part of what makes tea reliable. Tea plants belong to the species Camellia sinensis. In the wild, they can grow into tall trees, sometimes reaching several meters in height. In cultivation, they are kept low, trimmed carefully into dense shrubs. This pruning is intentional. Keeping the plant low encourages new growth, and it is the newest growth that matters most. The youngest leaves at the tip of each branch contain the highest concentration of the compounds that give tea its character. Caffeine, amino acids like L-theanine, polyphenols that influence flavor, color, and aroma. Because of this, tea harvesting follows a cycle. New leaves appear, they are picked. The plant rests briefly. Then growth resumes. In many regions, tea is harvested multiple times a year. Spring harvests tend to be lighter and more delicate. Later harvests are often stronger and more robust. These seasonal differences are not artificial. They reflect how the plant responds to changing light and temperature. Longer days increase growth speed. Slower growth concentrates compounds. Altitude plays a significant role. Tea grown at higher elevations tends to grow more slowly. Cooler temperatures reduce metabolic speed. This slower pace allows more complex chemical profiles to develop in the leaves. As a result, high-altitude teas often have softer bitterness and more layered flavor. Lower elevation teas grow faster and tend to be bolder. Soil matters as well. Well-drained, slightly acidic soil supports healthy root systems. Tea plants do not tolerate waterlogged ground. Their roots need both moisture and air. Rainfall must be steady rather than extreme. Too much water dilutes flavor. Too little stresses the plant. Tea thrives in balance. Tea bushes can live for a very long time. With proper care, they may produce leaves for 50 years or more. Some ancient tea trees in China are hundreds of years old and still harvested. This longevity affects how tea landscapes develop. Plantations are not replaced frequently. They are maintained. Over time, the plant adapts to its environment. Its roots deepen. Its growth patterns stabilize. The plant remembers. Leaves respond to stress in measurable ways. Drought, cold, and insects all influence chemical production. Polyphenols increase as a defense. Flavor shifts as a result. These changes are subtle. They are not visible at a glance, but they are present in the cup. Tea harvesting itself is quiet work. Leaves are picked by hand in most regions. Mechanical harvesting exists, but it often sacrifices quality. Hand harvesting allows selectivity. Only certain leaves are chosen. The rest remain. This selectivity preserves the plant's health. It prevents exhaustion. The rhythm of harvesting follows natural cycles. Morning picking is common. Cool temperatures protect leaf integrity. Heat later in the day can accelerate oxidation before processing begins. Once picked, leaves must be handled gently. Bruising triggers chemical reactions too early. Timing becomes critical. The plant's sensitivity requires attentiveness rather than force. Tea plants do not demand constant intervention. They respond best to consistent care. Regular pruning, predictable harvest, stable conditions. This mirrors tea's effect on people. Steady input produces steady output. The evergreen nature of the tea plant means there is no dramatic pause in its life cycle. No visible ending or beginning, just gradual change. Leaves fall occasionally. New ones replace them. Growth continues. This continuity has allowed tea to persist across centuries without reinvention. The plant itself does not rush. It does not spike. It does not collapse. It grows slowly. It rests briefly. Then it grows again. Every cup of tea begins with this quiet persistence. A plant that remains, responds, and continues. Long before tea is brewed, flavored, or served, it exists as a living system shaped by time and environment. And long after the cup is empty, the plant remains where it has always been. Rooted, evergreen, waiting patiently for the next harvest. Once tea leaves are picked, their transformation begins almost immediately. Not through force, but through exposure. Processing tea is not about adding anything new. It is about guiding what is already there. Fresh tea leaves are alive. Inside them, enzymes remain active. Moisture moves slowly through their cells. Chemical compounds wait for air and heat to interact with them. The first step is withering. Withering allows freshly picked leaves to rest. They are spread out in thin layers and left to lose moisture gradually. As water evaporates, the leaves soften. They become flexible instead of rigid. This softness matters. It prepares the leaves for the next steps without breaking them. During withering, chemical changes also begin. Amino acids and sugars become more available. Aroma starts to develop, though faintly. Time controls this stage. Too short, and the leaves remain stiff. Too long, and they lose vitality. After withering comes rolling. Rolling gently breaks the cell walls of the leaf. This releases internal compounds and allows oxygen to reach them. The leaf twists and curls, taking on a new shape. Rolling can be done by hand or by machine. Either way, the goal is the same: to encourage transformation without damage. This is where oxidation truly begins. Oxidation occurs when enzymes in the leaf react with oxygen in the air. The leaf slowly darkens. Green fades toward copper, then brown. Flavor deepens. Bitterness may increase or soften depending on timing. Aroma becomes more complex. Green teas are protected from oxidation early. Heat is applied quickly to stop enzymatic activity. This preserves the leaf's green color and lighter taste. Black teas are allowed to oxidize fully. Leaves rest longer in contact with air. Color deepens. Flavor grows stronger and rounder. Oolong teas rest between these two states. They are oxidized partially, often in stages. Leaves may be rested, rolled, then rested again. This careful control allows oolong teas to develop layered character. Flavors unfold gradually across multiple infusions. White tea is processed the least. Young leaves and buds are withered and dried gently. Oxidation happens slowly and naturally, without intervention. After oxidation comes drying. Drying removes remaining moisture and stabilizes the leaf. Heat is applied carefully. Too much heat burns aroma. Too little allows spoilage. Drying locks the tea into its final form. At this point, the leaf is no longer changing rapidly. It can be stored, transported, waited upon. Small variations at each stage create noticeable differences in the cup. A few extra minutes of oxidation, a slightly warmer drying temperature, a gentler roll. These are not dramatic changes, but tea is sensitive. This sensitivity is why tea processing remains as much an art as a method. Machines assist. Experience guides. The people who process tea rely on sight, touch, and smell. They observe leaf color, feel texture, notice aroma shifts. There is no rushing this process. Leaves respond on their own timeline. The result of this careful handling is a leaf that holds potential. When hot water meets it later, these choices reveal themselves. Flavor releases gradually. Aroma rises. Color blooms in the cup. Tea processing does not aim for uniformity alone. It allows variation. Each harvest is slightly different. Each season leaves its trace. This is why tea remains interesting without being stimulating. It rewards attention without demanding it. The journey from leaf to cup is quiet, deliberate, and patient. Nothing is forced. Nothing is hurried. Tea becomes ready by being allowed to become itself. And when the leaves are finally steeped, they carry with them the memory of every step. Waiting, air, heat, time, all of it, dissolve gently into water. Green tea is tea in its most restrained form. It is defined less by what is done to it, and more by what is prevented. After green tea leaves are picked, oxidation is stopped almost immediately. Heat is applied quickly, either through steaming or pan firing. This halts enzymatic activity before the leaf can darken or deepen. The result is a tea that stays close to its original state. The leaf remains green. The character remains fresh. Because oxidation is minimal, the flavor of green tea reflects the living plant more directly. Grassy notes, soft vegetal sweetness, sometimes a faint nuttiness or gentle bitterness. These flavors are not heavy. They do not linger aggressively. They appear briefly, then recede. Green tea does not demand attention. It offers clarity. This clarity is one reason green tea has been favored in cultures that value quiet focus. In China and Japan, green tea has long been associated with study, meditation, and daily routine rather than celebration or excess. Green tea is often consumed without additions, no milk, little or no sugar. This allows the subtle qualities of the leaf to remain intact. Flavor becomes something noticed rather than masked. Preparation matters with green tea. Because the leaves are delicate, water temperature is usually lower than for other teas. Water that is too hot extracts bitterness quickly. Gentler heat preserves balance. This requirement encourages attentiveness. Green tea rewards patience and restraint. Chemically, green tea contains caffeine, but typically less than black tea. More importantly, it contains relatively high levels of L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid that influences brain activity. It is associated with increased alpha brain waves, which are linked to relaxed alertness. This state is often described as calm focus rather than stimulation. When caffeine and L-theanine are present together, they interact. Caffeine increases alertness. L-theanine smooths that alertness. The result is a steady mental state. Awake, but not rushed. Present, without tension. This balance explains why green tea has been consumed for long periods without the peaks and crashes often associated with stronger stimulants. Green tea is also rich in polyphenols, particularly catechins. These compounds contribute to flavor and bitterness, but also interact with the body in subtle ways. They influence how tea feels as much as how it tastes. Because green tea is minimally processed, these compounds remain relatively intact. This contributes to its clean, bright profile. Culturally, green tea is not associated with haste. It is often brewed in small quantities, consumed slowly, sometimes over multiple infusions. Each infusion reveals something slightly different. The first cup may be fresh and light. Later cups soften. This gradual unfolding encourages lingering rather than consumption. Green tea is often prepared and consumed in silence or near silence. In Japan, it is common to drink green tea with meals, not to dominate flavor, but to accompany it. In China, green tea may be consumed throughout the day without ceremony, but with consistency. Consistency matters. Drinking the same tea prepared in the same way at similar times creates rhythm. The body learns what to expect. Green tea becomes a background presence rather than a focal point. It supports attention without pulling it forward. Because green tea is less oxidized, it is also less stable over long periods. It is best consumed fresh. This encourages presence. Green tea does not age dramatically. It does not deepen over years. It exists in the moment. This immediacy shapes its role. Green tea belongs to now, to the current day, to the present task. It is often associated with mornings or early afternoons, when the mind needs support without intensity. Green tea does not push energy upward. It levels it. In this way, green tea remains true to tea's original purpose: to support awareness gently, to create a sense of readiness without urgency. It is tea at its quietest edge, close to the leaf, close to water, close to stillness. And when the cup is empty, there is no after effect demanding attention, only the sense that things are clear enough to continue slowly from where you are. Black tea represents the far end of tea's spectrum, but it does not rush there. It arrives through time. Unlike green tea, black tea is fully oxidized. After the leaves are picked and withered, they are rolled and then left exposed to air for longer periods. This extended contact with oxygen allows enzymes to work completely. Color deepens. Green turns to copper, then to deep brown. Aroma grows stronger. Flavor becomes rounder and more pronounced. Yet even at this end of the process, tea remains measured. Black tea does not become sharp or chaotic. It becomes grounded. This grounding quality is why black tea became so widely adopted across cultures. Its flavor is sturdy. Its aroma familiar. It holds up well to storage, travel, and repetition. Black tea does not fade quickly. It remains stable over time. This stability made it ideal for global movement. Long journeys, variable climates, months of waiting. Where green tea is closely tied to freshness, black tea tolerates delay. It does not require immediacy. In the cup, black tea carries deeper notes: malt, wood, sometimes fruit or gentle sweetness, sometimes a hint of smoke. These flavors feel settled rather than bright. They do not rise quickly, they sit. Because of this, black tea is often associated with morning routines and structured pauses. It provides presence without urgency. Chemically, black tea contains more caffeine than green tea, but still less than coffee. It also contains L-theanine, though typically in lower concentrations than green tea. This combination produces a different balance. Alertness is present, but it is steady rather than sharp. The stimulation from black tea unfolds gradually. There is no sudden surge, no abrupt drop. This slow unfolding is key. The mind is supported over time rather than pushed forward. Black tea also contains a different profile of polyphenols due to oxidation. Catechins transform into theaflavins and theorubicins. These compounds influence color, taste, and mouthfeel. They also contribute to the sensation of fullness and warmth that black tea creates. This warmth is not only thermal, it is sensory. Black tea often feels grounding because it engages multiple senses gently at once. Aroma is richer, color is deeper, flavor lingers slightly longer. These cues signal familiarity. Familiarity reduces vigilance. When the brain recognizes a pattern it has encountered many times, it relaxes. This is one reason black tea became so common in workplaces and homes. It could be returned to again and again without novelty wearing thin. Black tea also adapts well to additions. Milk softens bitterness. Sugar rounds flavor. These additions change the experience but not the rhythm. Tea is still brewed, still poured, still waited for. The waiting matters. Because black tea is forgiving, preparation can be consistent without being exact. Water temperature is higher. Steeping times are flexible. This makes black tea easy to incorporate into routine. It does not demand precision to be enjoyable. Ease encourages repetition. Repetition builds rhythm. In many cultures, black tea became the default tea. The one kept on hand, the one offered to guests, the one made during breaks without thought. This ordinariness is important. It means black tea does not ask to be noticed. It simply supports what is already happening. Black tea also carries a sense of completion. It feels finished, resolved. Where green tea feels close to growth, black tea feels settled. This does not make it heavy. It makes it dependable. For the nervous system, this dependability is calming. Predictable sensory input reduces uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty lowers background tension. Black tea's deeper aroma and flavor act as anchors. They pull attention gently into the present without excitement. This is why black tea pairs well with quiet work. Reading, writing, sitting. The mind remains awake, but not restless. Over time, black tea became associated with steadiness rather than stimulation. A way to begin the day without urgency. A way to pause without disengaging. It does not announce energy. It allows it. In this way, black tea completes tea's spectrum without breaking its character. It shows that depth does not require intensity. That fullness does not require excess. Black tea is tea that has waited long enough to become itself. And when brewed, it asks nothing more than the same patience that created it. A cup, a moment, a steady warmth that lingers just long enough to carry the mind forward, calmly, from where it is. Oolong tea exists between states. Not fully green, not fully black. It occupies the space where change is still unfolding. This in-between quality is not accidental. Oolong tea is partially oxidized, and that partial state is carefully controlled. After the leaves are picked and withered, they are gently bruised rather than fully rolled. This bruising allows oxidation to begin, but not to complete. Leaves may be rested, then moved, oxidized, then paused, handled in cycles. This repeated stopping and starting is what gives oolong its complexity. Oxidation in oolong teas can range widely. Some are closer to green tea, with light oxidation and fresh floral notes. Others approach black tea, with deeper roasted character, but none move fully in either direction. Because of this, oolong teas often change as they are consumed. The first infusion may be light and fragrant, the second deeper. Later infusions reveal warmth, mineral notes, or gentle sweetness. This unfolding happens slowly. Oolong tea is often brewed multiple times from the same leaves. Each infusion draws out different compounds. Flavor evolves rather than repeating. This evolution encourages attentiveness without effort. There is no need to analyze. The changes announce themselves. The sensory experience of oolong is layered. Aroma arrives first. Flavor follows. Aftertaste lingers briefly, then fades. Nothing arrives all at once. Because oolong processing is complex, it requires close observation. Producers rely on scent, touch, and visual cues to decide when to pause or continue oxidation. Small decisions have lasting effects. This attentiveness is reflected in the tea itself. Oolong rewards patience. Chemically, oolong teas contain caffeine and L-theanine in balanced proportions. Because oxidation is partial, the chemical profile sits between green and black tea. Stimulation is present but measured. Focus is supported without intensity. Oolong does not push energy forward. It lets it surface gradually. This makes oolong particularly suited for long, unstructured periods. Extended conversations, slow afternoons, creative work without deadlines. The tea does not dominate the moment. It accompanies it. Culturally, oolong tea developed strongly in regions that valued refinement through repetition. Preparation became careful, but not rigid. Tea was brewed in small vessels. Water was poured gently. Leaves were given space to open. Watching oolong leaves unfurl in hot water is part of the experience. Tightly rolled leaves slowly expand. They reveal their shape gradually. This visual unfolding reinforces the sensory rhythm. Time stretches. Attention settles. Oolong teas are often described as having a body that feels smooth rather than sharp. Bitterness is usually low. Sweetness appears subtly, often toward the end of a sip. This delayed sweetness contributes to oolong's calming effect. It does not demand immediate response. It waits. Because oolong teas can be steeped multiple times, they extend the drinking experience. One preparation becomes several moments. There is no rush to finish. This extended engagement encourages slower pacing. There is always another cup possible. For the nervous system, this matters. Extended, low-intensity sensory input supports regulation. There are no spikes, no abrupt shifts. Oolong tea also reflects adaptability. It changes with water temperature, with steeping time, with attention. Yet it remains forgiving. Small variations do not ruin the experience. They simply shift it. This forgiveness reduces performance pressure. There is no perfect way to drink oolong, only a way to be present with it. In this way, oolong tea mirrors transitional states in life, moments that are not beginnings or endings, periods of quiet change. It does not insist on resolution. It allows unfolding. As time passes and the leaves give up their final flavors, there is a natural ending. The tea becomes lighter, then faint. This fading is not loss, it is completion. Oolong tea teaches through experience rather than instruction. That change does not need to be rushed. That complexity can arrive gently. It shows that between extremes, there is space. Space to linger, space to notice. And in that space, attention softens, and the mind follows slowly wherever it needs to go next. White tea is tea at its most quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not insist on attention. It simply exists. Among all teas, white tea is the least processed. After harvesting, the leaves are withered and dried with minimal intervention. There is no rolling to bruise the leaf, no deliberate shaping, no forced oxidation. Time does most of the work. White tea is typically made from young leaves and unopened buds. These buds are often covered in fine, silvery hairs, which give white tea its name. They are delicate by nature. Handling is kept gentle to preserve their structure. Because white tea undergoes minimal processing, oxidation happens slowly and naturally. There is no attempt to control it precisely. The leaf changes at its own pace. This creates a tea that feels soft rather than defined. Flavor is subtle. Aroma is light. Bitterness is low. White tea does not fill the mouth immediately. It appears quietly, then fades. This subtlety is part of its appeal. White tea rewards calm attention. It is easy to miss if rushed. In the cup, white tea often carries notes of hay, wildflowers, or faint sweetness. These flavors do not linger aggressively. They pass through gently. Because of this, white tea is often consumed without additions. Milk would overwhelm it. Sugar would mask it. white tea prefers space. Preparation of white tea tends to be forgiving despite the leaf's delicacy. Water temperature is lower. Steeping times are flexible. Over-extraction is difficult. This makes white tea particularly gentle on the nervous system. Chemically, white tea contains caffeine, but usually in lower amounts than other teas. It also contains L-theanine, contributing to a calm, steady mental state. Because the leaves are young, white tea can contain high levels of certain polyphenols. These compounds contribute to flavor and mouthfeel, but also interact subtly with the body. The overall effect of white tea is not stimulation. It is clarity. White tea does not push energy forward. It clears space. Culturally, white tea has been associated with refinement rather than ceremony. It was often reserved for moments of quiet appreciation, not for large gatherings, not for daily repetition. This association shaped how white tea was consumed, in small quantities, with care, without distraction. White tea does not demand conversation. It supports silence. Because of its minimal processing, white tea can change over time. When stored properly, some white teas develop deeper flavor as they age. This aging is slow and subtle. Even so, white tea never becomes heavy. It remains light, even as complexity increases. This slow evolution mirrors white tea's character. Nothing happens quickly. Nothing overwhelms. White tea is often chosen during times of rest, early mornings, late evenings, moments when the body and mind are already quiet. It pairs well with stillness. The sensory experience of white tea is understated. The color in the cup is pale, the aroma faint, the texture smooth. These cues signal safety rather than alertness. The nervous system does not need to prepare for intensity. Because white tea offers so little resistance, it allows the drinker to settle inward. Attention drifts without losing clarity. There is no sharp edge to white tea, no spike, no crash. It supports a kind of wakeful rest. White tea also teaches restraint. It shows that less handling can preserve more, that allowing something to remain close to its origin can be enough. In a world that often favors boldness, white tea remains quiet. It does not compete. It does not perform. It simply waits to be noticed. And when it is, the experience is gentle. A soft warmth, a brief sweetness, a sense that nothing needs to be added. White tea does not fill space, it leaves space. And in that space, the mind often finds itself already resting, without effort, without instruction, exactly where it needs to be. Tea's effect on the body is subtle, but it is not accidental. It emerges from a quiet interaction between chemistry and time. Unlike stronger stimulants, tea does not rely on a single compound to create its effect. Its influence comes from balance. The most commonly discussed compound in tea is caffeine. Caffeine stimulates the central nervous system by blocking adenosine, a neurotransmitter associated with drowsiness. When adenosine is blocked, alertness increases. This mechanism exists in coffee as well. But tea feels different. The difference lies in what accompanies caffeine. Tea naturally contains an amino acid called L-theanine. This compound crosses the blood-brain barrier and influences brain activity directly. It has been associated with increased alpha wave production, which is linked to relaxed alertness. Alpha waves are often present during calm focus, light meditation, and moments of creative attention. They sit between wakefulness and rest. When caffeine and L-theanine are consumed together, they interact. Caffeine increases alertness. L-theanine smooths the edges of that alertness. This interaction changes how stimulation is experienced. Instead of a sharp rise in energy, tea produces a gradual lift. Instead of restlessness, there is steadiness. This is why tea is often described as producing clarity rather than intensity. The ratio of caffeine to L-theanine varies by tea type. Green tea tends to have higher L-theanine relative to caffeine. Black tea contains more caffeine, with slightly less L-theanine. Oolong and white teas fall in between. This variation explains why different teas feel different, even when caffeine content overlaps. Tea also contains polyphenols, a broad category of compounds that influence both flavor and physiology. In green tea, these are largely catechins. In black tea, they transform into the flavulins and thiorubigens during oxidation. Polyphenols contribute to bitterness and astringency, but they also interact with digestion and absorption. They slow how caffeine enters the bloodstream. This delay reduces sudden spikes. As a result, tea's stimulation unfolds gradually. The body has time to adjust. This slow release is one reason tea rarely produces the jittery sensations sometimes associated with coffee. There is no abrupt surge demanding response. Temperature also plays a role. Tea is typically consumed hot or warm. Warm liquids activate sensory receptors in the mouth and throat that are associated with comfort. This sensory input sends calming signals through the nervous system. The warmth itself becomes part of the experience. It softens muscle tension. It encourages slower sipping. Slower sipping further moderates caffeine intake. Instead of consuming a stimulant quickly, tea is taken in gradually. This pacing matters. The act of brewing tea also contributes to its effect. Heating water, waiting, pouring. These steps introduce pauses before consumption even begins. The body and mind begin to settle before caffeine arrives. This combination of chemical balance and behavioral pacing makes tea unique. Tea does not override the nervous system. It cooperates with it. There is also the role of repetition. Drinking tea regularly, prepared in familiar ways, creates conditioned responses. The body learns to associate the sensory cues of tea with calm focus. Aroma, warmth, taste. Over time, these cues alone can begin to signal relaxation, even before chemical effects take hold. This conditioning reinforces tea's steady influence. Tea chemistry does not aim to maximize stimulation. It aims to sustain it. This sustainability is why tea has remained a companion for long periods of attention across cultures. Monks, scholars, craftspeople, tea supports continuity. It keeps the mind present without pulling it forward too quickly. Even the absence of extremes matters. Tea does not create dramatic highs. It does not produce sudden crashes. The nervous system prefers predictability. Predictable input reduces vigilance. Tea provides that predictability. In contrast to stronger stimulants, tea's chemistry aligns with the body's natural rhythms. Alertness rises gently. Focus settles, then slowly fades. There is no urgency to replace the effect. Another cup may come later, or not. Tea does not demand repetition, it allows it. This quiet cooperation between compounds, temperature, timing, and habit explains why tea feels different. Not because it lacks power, but because it distributes it evenly. Tea chemistry is not dramatic, it is patient. And in that patience, it creates a mental state that feels stable, grounded, and clear enough to remain where you are, without needing to go anywhere else. The way tea affects the nervous system is gentle, but deeply consistent. It does not force the body into a new state. It guides it there slowly. At the center of this interaction is the balance between stimulation and safety. The nervous system is constantly scanning for signals. Is this environment predictable? Is it demanding? Is it safe to relax? Tea sends signals that answer these questions quietly. One of the most studied compounds in tea, L-theanine, plays a central role. L-theanine influences brain activity by increasing alpha wave production. Alpha waves are associated with calm awareness rather than drowsiness or hyperfocus. This state allows attention to remain present without tightening. Unlike sedatives, L-theanine does not suppress activity. It reorganizes it. When caffeine is present alongside L-theanine, the effect changes. Caffeine alone increases alertness by stimulating the nervous system. Paired with L-theanine, that stimulation becomes smoother. The result is focus without edge. This is why tea often feels mentally clarifying rather than energizing. The nervous system is supported, not startled. Tea also affects the autonomic nervous system, which governs automatic bodily functions such as heart rate and digestion. Warm liquids have been shown to activate the parasympathetic branch, the system associated with rest and digestion. Warmth in the mouth and throat sends signals through sensory nerves that reduce tension. Muscles soften. Breathing deepens slightly. This response begins before any chemical compounds are absorbed. The act of holding a warm cup contributes as well. Heat in the hands activates receptors linked to comfort and safety. These sensory cues are familiar to the nervous system. Familiarity matters. When sensory input is predictable and repeated, the nervous system reduces vigilance. There is less need to monitor for change. Tea preparation itself reinforces this pattern. The same steps repeated daily, the same sounds, the same timing. Kettle heating, water pouring, steam rising. These cues form a sequence the nervous system recognizes. Recognition lowers stress. Over time, the body begins to associate tea with regulation. Even before drinking, the preparation signals a coming pause. This conditioning strengthens tea's calming effect. Tea also encourages slower behavior. Hot liquid cannot be consumed quickly. Sipping replaces gulping. Slower intake moderates physiological response. Heart rate changes gradually. Stimulation unfolds evenly. This pacing protects the nervous system from spikes. Tea's sensory profile also matters. Aroma rises gently rather than sharply. Flavor develops slowly rather than exploding. There are no sudden sensory demands. This absence of intensity allows the nervous system to remain settled while still engaged. Repetition plays a final role. Tea is often consumed at the same times each day: morning, afternoon, early evening. These consistent cues align with circadian rhythms. The body learns when to expect stimulation and when to release it. Tea becomes a signal rather than a surprise. Over time, this predictability strengthens emotional regulation. The nervous system trusts the experience. Tea does not ask the body to override its signals. It works with them. This cooperation explains why tea is often tolerated even by people sensitive to caffeine. The experience is not just chemical, it is contextual. Warmth, timing, repetition, balance. Together, they create an environment where the nervous system can remain alert without becoming defensive. Tea does not quiet the mind by suppressing thought. It quiets it by reducing the need to react. There is no urgency, no demand, just enough stimulation to remain present, paired with enough safety to relax. This balance is rare, and it is why tea has remained a companion during moments of attention and rest alike. Why it appears during study and during recovery. Why it is chosen when the nervous system needs support, not force. Tea does not change the nervous system's direction. It steadies it. And in that steadiness, the mind often finds itself able to remain where it is, without strain, without effort, long enough for rest to arrive naturally. Before tea affects the body chemically, it affects it physically. Through warmth, through touch, through sensation. Temperature is the first message tea sends to the nervous system. Tea is almost always consumed warm or hot. This warmth activates sensory receptors in the mouth, throat, and hands that are closely linked to comfort and safety. These receptors do not analyze, they respond. Warmth signals containment. It suggests shelter. It reduces the body's need to brace. When a warm cup is held, heat transfers slowly into the palms. The hands contain a high density of sensory nerves. They are constantly reporting information to the brain. Warmth in the hands is associated with relaxation. Muscle tone decreases slightly. Grip softens. This response happens without conscious effort. The mouth and throat also respond to temperature. Warm liquids reduce the sensitivity of certain reflexes. Swallowing becomes smoother. Breathing naturally slows. This is one reason warm drinks feel easier to consume during rest or recovery. The body encounters no resistance. Steam adds another layer. As tea releases steam, aromatic compounds rise gently into the air. These aromas are not sharp. They are diffuse. The olfactory system is closely tied to memory and emotion. Soft, familiar scents can trigger calming associations. Because tea aroma is subtle, it engages the senses without overwhelming them. This balance matters. Strong scents demand attention. Gentle scents allow attention to remain diffuse. Tea's aroma floats rather than strikes. Sipping also changes the experience of time. Hot liquids require small, careful sips. This slows consumption. Slower consumption stretches the experience. The nervous system prefers gradual input. Sudden changes require adjustment. Gradual changes feel safe. As tea moves through the body, warmth spreads slowly. There is no shock, no sudden contrast. This gradual spread encourages relaxation rather than alerting responses. Tea temperature also influences body temperature regulation. Warm drinks can promote peripheral blood flow, particularly in the hands and feet. This redistribution of warmth supports a sense of comfort. Comfort reduces vigilance. When the body feels physically comfortable, it reduces unnecessary monitoring. The nervous system can redirect energy toward rest. Tea also creates a thermal boundary between the body and its environment. Holding a warm cup provides a contained source of heat. This can be grounding, especially in cooler or quieter settings. The act of pausing to drink tea further reinforces this grounding. Attention narrows briefly. Movement slows. There is a moment where nothing else is required. Temperature also influences taste perception. Warmth softens bitterness. It allows sweetness to emerge gently. This sensory softening contributes to tea's calming effect. There is no sharp edge demanding reaction. Even the sound of tea contributes. The pour of hot water, the faint hiss of steam, the soft clink of ceramic. These sounds are predictable and low in intensity. They do not startle. They settle. Over time, the nervous system begins to associate these cues with rest. The kettle's sound becomes a signal. The warmth becomes a promise. Repetition strengthens this association. Tea is often consumed in similar settings. The same chair, the same room, the same time of day. Environmental consistency amplifies the effect of temperature and sensation. Together, they create a familiar sensory envelope. This envelope allows the body to settle without instruction. Tea does not require the drinker to focus on relaxation. Relaxation occurs as a byproduct of sensation. This is important. When the nervous system is asked to relax directly, it often resists. When it is given conditions that imply safety, it follows naturally. Tea provides those conditions. Warmth, gentle aroma, slow pacing, predictable cues. None of these demand attention. They allow it to soften. This is why tea feels different from cold drinks or quick stimulants. It engages the body first, then the mind. It invites rather than pushes. By the time chemical compounds begin to act, the nervous system is already shifting, already less guarded, already receptive. Tea temperature and sensation create a foundation, a quiet, physical reassurance. And from that reassurance, calm awareness can unfold, naturally, without effort, just as warmth spreads from a cup into waiting hands. Wherever tea traveled, it adapted without losing itself. Across continents and climates, it became part of daily life in ways that felt local, familiar, and quietly grounding. Different cultures shaped tea rituals to fit their rhythms, but beneath the variations, something consistent remained. Warmth, sharing, pause. In Morocco, tea is prepared with care and presence. Green tea is brewed with fresh mint and poured from a height, creating a soft cascade into small glasses. The pouring itself is part of the ritual. It aerates the tea. It cools it slightly. It creates foam on the surface. Tea is served slowly, often in multiple rounds. Each glass tastes a little different, sweeter, lighter, more settled. The ritual emphasizes hospitality. To offer tea is to offer time. Guests are not rushed. Conversation unfolds at its own pace. The warmth of the tea matches the warmth of the welcome. In Russia, tea tea is centered around the samovar, a large metal vessel designed to keep water hot for long periods. The samovar sits at the center of the room, quietly steaming. Tea is brewed strong in a small pot, then diluted with hot water to taste. This allows each person to choose their own balance. The samovar creates continuity. There is no hurry to finish. Hot water remains available. Another cup is always possible. Tea becomes a background presence. It supports long conversations, quiet evenings, and moments of rest during cold seasons. In China, tea rituals often take the form of gongfu tea. Small teapots, small cups, multiple infusions. Attention is focused on the leaves, how they open, how aroma changes, how flavor shifts from cup to cup. The ritual is deliberate but unforced. There is no performance, only observation. Gongfu tea emphasizes presence without pressure. The small scale slows consumption naturally. Each cup is brief, then another follows. This repetition creates rhythm. The nervous system settles into the pattern. In India, tea appears in a different form. Chai is brewed with black tea, milk, spices, and sugar. It is often prepared in large pots and shared widely. Chai is less about quiet contemplation and more about communal warmth. It is offered in the morning, during breaks, in the evening. Despite its richness, chai still creates pause. The boiling, the simmering, the waiting. Spices add aroma, but the ritual remains familiar. A cup is held. Warmth spreads. Conversation softens. Across cultures, tea rituals share a common feature. They slow the moment. Whether elaborate or simple, tea requires waiting. Water must heat. Leaves must steep. Cups must be filled. This waiting is not wasted time. It is time that feels allowed. Tea rituals also create shared focus. Even when conversation is present, attention returns to the cup, to warmth, to repetition. This shared focus reduces social pressure. Silence feels natural. Words are optional. Tea does not demand interaction. It supports it. The objects used in tea rituals also matter. Glasses, cups, pots. These objects are touched repeatedly. They become familiar through use. Familiar objects anchor attention. Across cultures, tea vessels are designed for comfort rather than efficiency. Handles, curves, textures. These details reinforce safety and ease. Tea rituals also persist because they are adaptable. They can be shortened or extended. Formal or casual, shared or solitary. This flexibility allows tea to remain present through changing circumstances. Even when societies became faster, tea rituals preserved moments of slowness, a brief interruption, a reset. Tea does not ask people to stop living. It asks them to pause within it. This universality is important. Despite cultural differences, tea rituals converge on the same experience. Warmth shared, time softened, attention eased. Tea becomes a quiet agreement across languages, across borders, an understanding that some moments do not need to be filled. Wherever tea is prepared, it creates a small space where urgency loosens, a space that feels familiar, even if the setting is not. This is why tea rituals endure. They are not about tradition alone. They are about regulation. They offer the same thing everywhere. A cup, a pause, a moment that belongs to no one in particular. And in that moment, the world feels briefly quieter, no matter where you are. Tea changes how time feels, not by speeding it up or slowing it down directly, but by reshaping attention. Before a cup of tea is ever consumed, time is already involved. Water must be heated, leaves must be measured, steeping must occur. None of these steps can be rushed without consequence. Waiting is built into the process. When water heats, there is a pause. Nothing happens outwardly for a moment. Sound slowly builds. Steam begins to rise. This gradual change draws attention without urgency. There is no sudden event, only progression. The brain responds differently to gradual processes than to immediate ones. Gradual change reduces arousal. There is time to adapt. Steeping further stretches perception. A few minutes pass, but they are structured minutes. There is a clear beginning and end. Structured waiting feels shorter than unstructured waiting. The mind knows what it is waiting for. Tea provides that clarity. Repetition also shapes time perception. Making tea often involves the same actions, performed in the same order. Fill the kettle, heat the water, prepare the cup, pour, wait. These repeated motions create a predictable sequence. Predictability reduces the brain's need to monitor time. When the brain does not need to track every moment, time feels less pressured. Tea rituals also divide time into gentle segments. Before tea, during tea, after tea. This segmentation makes long stretches feel manageable. The day is not one continuous demand. It is punctuated. Each cup becomes a marker. Because tea is consumed slowly, it elongates the present moment. Sipping replaces gulping. Attention returns to the cup again and again. This repeated return anchors awareness. The mind does not drift as far forward. Tea also reduces multitasking. Hot liquid requires care. Hands are occupied, movement slow. Multitasking compresses time. Single task focus expands it. Tea encourages the latter. Temperature plays a role here as well. Warmth creates comfort. Comfort reduces urgency. When the body is comfortable, the nervous system stops signaling the need to move quickly. This physical state alters time perception. Minutes feel fuller. Moments feel complete. There is also the role of anticipation. Tea does not deliver its effect immediately. Warmth builds, flavor develops. This gradual reward keeps attention in the present rather than pulling it forward. In contrast, instant stimulation collapses time. Everything arrives at once. Tea unfolds. Psychologically, tea rituals function as micro-pauses, short breaks that reset internal pacing. These pauses reduce time-related stress. There is a sense that something has been completed, even if nothing external has changed. Tea also creates permission to stop without guilt. The reason is clear. You are making tea. This permission matters. When pauses are justified, the mind can relax into them. There is no internal debate. Over time, tea becomes associated with time slowing. The body learns the pattern. Kettle sounds mean a pause is coming. This conditioning strengthens tea's effect on time perception. Even after the cup is finished, the sense of having paused remains. Tea does not eliminate deadlines or obligations. It reshapes how they are felt. Urgency softens, pressure spreads out. Tea also allows for reflection without rumination. The hands are occupied, the senses engaged. Thoughts can drift without becoming tangled. This mental spacing makes time feel less dense. Across cultures, tea has been used to mark transitions. Beginning of work, midday rest, evening wind down. These transitions create rhythm. Rhythm organizes time. Without rhythm, time feels chaotic. With rhythm, it feels navigable. Tea provides rhythm without rigidity. The timing is flexible. The ritual forgiving. This flexibility allows tea to fit into many lives. Tea does not demand exact minutes. It asks for a few. Those few minutes, repeated, change how the rest of time feels. By slowing the body and narrowing attention, tea stretches the present. The moment becomes large enough to rest inside. This is why tea feels timeless even when time passes. The clock continues, but perception softens. Tea does not stop time. It makes space within it. And in that space, urgency loosens, and the day becomes something that unfolds rather than presses forward. One quiet sip at a time. As the day begins to loosen its grip, tea often changes its role. What once supported focus now supports release. Tea before sleep is not about stimulation. It is about transition. Across cultures, evening tea traditions developed not to energize, but to signal that the active part of the day was ending. The work was done. The body could begin to settle. In many homes, the evening kettle became a familiar sound. Not a call to action, but a cue to slow down. The nervous system responds strongly to cues. When the same actions occur at the same time each evening, the body learns what comes next. Light dims, movement slows, rest approaches. Tea becomes part of that sequence. In the evening, tea selection often changes. Lower caffeine or naturally decaffeinated teas are chosen. White tea, certain green teas, herbal infusions that resemble tea in ritual, even if not in chemistry. The chemical content matters, but the ritual matters more. Decaffeinated and low caffeine teas reduce stimulation, but they still preserve the sensory experience. Warmth, aroma, holding a cup. These cues tell the nervous system that nothing urgent is required. Even when caffeine is minimal, the act of making tea remains consistent. Water is heated, leaves steep. Waiting happens. This waiting is important. Before sleep, the body benefits from gradual slowing rather than sudden stopping. Tea provides a gentle taper. The warmth of tea also supports physical relaxation. Warm liquids promote vasodilation, increasing blood flow to the skin. This process can help lower core body temperature afterward, a signal associated with sleep readiness. The effect is subtle but consistent. Psychologically, tea before bed creates a boundary. It marks the end of stimulation. Screens may be set aside, lights lowered. The mind recognizes the shift. Tea also offers comfort without demand. It does not require conversation. It does not require focus. It is something to be with, not something to do. This distinction matters at night. Activities that demand engagement can keep the nervous system alert. Tea allows presence without activation. Even the flavor profile of evening teas tends to be softer. Less bitterness, more rounded notes, nothing sharp. These sensory qualities reinforce calm. For people who struggle with racing thoughts at night, tea can serve as a grounding anchor. The hands are occupied, the senses engaged. Attention returns to the physical moment rather than drifting forward. This grounding does not suppress thought. It gently redirects it. Repetition strengthens the effect. When tea is consumed nightly, the body begins to associate it with sleep preparation. The cue becomes internalized. Over time, the nervous system may begin to slow as soon as the kettle is heard. This conditioning is powerful. Even on nights when sleep does not arrive quickly, the tea ritual still provides structure. There is something familiar to return to. Familiarity reduces frustration. Frustration increases arousal. Tea breaks that cycle. Importantly, tea before sleep is not about forcing rest. It does not command the body to sleep. It creates conditions where sleep is more likely to arrive on its own. This distinction prevents pressure. Pressure keeps the nervous system alert. Permission allows it to settle. Tea offers permission. It says that the day is complete enough to pause, that nothing needs to be solved right now. Even after the cup is finished, the sense of having completed a ritual remains. A small task done, a moment honored. This completion can quiet the need to keep moving. Tea does not guarantee sleep. It prepares for it, and preparation matters. By the time the body reaches the bed, it has already begun to slow. Breathing is easier, muscles softer. The mind is not empty, but it is less insistent. Tea before sleep is not about chemistry alone. It is about rhythm. The same steps, the same warmth, the same timing, night after night. In this way, tea becomes a bridge between waking and rest. Not a dramatic transition, a gentle one. A reminder that it is safe to stop now, safe to release the day. And if sleep arrives, it does so quietly, without being summoned. If it takes time, the tea has already done what it needed to do. It has softened the edges of the evening. It has made space. And in that space, rest can arrive when it is ready, without urgency, without effort, exactly as the body prefers. Before tea is tasted, it is heard. Sound is one of the first ways tea enters awareness, often before any warmth or aroma is noticed. And unlike loud or sudden noises, the sounds of tea are gentle, predictable, and low in intensity. These qualities matter deeply to the nervous system. The process often begins with the kettle. At first, there is silence. Then, a faint hum. A soft building sound that grows gradually rather than abruptly. This gradual rise is important. Sudden noises trigger alertness. Slowly increasing sounds allow the body to adjust. As water warms, the sound shifts subtly. Small changes in pitch and texture signal progress. The brain recognizes this pattern. There is no surprise, only expectation. Steam may begin to escape, releasing a quiet hiss. This sound is steady, not sharp. It does not demand attention. Instead, it creates atmosphere. When water is poured, another familiar sound arrives. Liquid meeting ceramic, a soft splash. a gentle echo inside the cup or pot. These sounds are contained. They stay close. They do not fill a room aggressively. Ceramic itself plays a role. Cups and teapots are often made from materials that soften sound rather than amplify it. The clink of a cup being set down is muted, rounded. This lack of harshness keeps the nervous system relaxed. Even stirring produces a quiet rhythm. Spoon against cup, circular motion, repeating. Repetition reduces vigilance. When the brain hears the same sounds in the same order, it stops scanning for change. Attention settles. Tea sounds are also domestic. They belong to safe, familiar environments. Kitchens, living rooms, small personal spaces. The nervous system associates these environments with lower threat. Because tea sounds are usually heard in calm settings, they become linked with rest over time. The association strengthens through repetition. Eventually, the sound of a kettle alone can trigger a sense of slowing. This conditioning is powerful. Unlike music, tea sounds do not carry emotional narratives. They do not build toward climax. They simply exist. This neutrality allows the mind to rest rather than engage. There is also the absence of sound to consider. Tea moments often include quiet between actions. Waiting while water heats. Waiting while leaves steep. These pauses are not filled with noise. They are left open. Silence itself is regulating when it is expected. Unexpected silence can feel uncomfortable. Anticipated silence feels safe. Tea creates anticipated silence. The auditory pattern of tea is simple. Sound, pause, sound again. This rhythm mirrors breathing patterns associated with calm states. The body often synchronizes with external rhythms without conscious effort. Hearing slow, predictable sounds can gently influence internal pacing. Breathing may deepen. Movements may slow. Tea sounds also lack urgency. There is no alarm, no notification. Nothing needs immediate response. This absence reduces cognitive load. The brain does not need to prioritize. Instead, it can drift. Even when tea is prepared among others, the sounds remain soft. Conversation may pause naturally while pouring occurs. Voices lower. Tea sounds seem to invite quiet rather than compete with it. This invitation is subtle. It does not instruct. It suggests. Across cultures, tea preparation sounds share similar qualities. Whether it is a kettle, a samovar, or water poured into a small cup, the acoustic pattern remains gentle. This universality reinforces tea's calming role. The sound of tea does not aim to entertain. It aims to accompany. It fills space without crowding it. For many people, these sounds become background comfort. They signal that nothing else is required in that moment. The nervous system relaxes into familiarity. Over time, tea sounds become part of a larger sensory memory: warmth, aroma, taste. But sound often arrives first. It sets the tone. By the time tea is finally sipped, the body has already begun to slow. The mind has already softened. Nothing dramatic has happened. Nothing needs to. The sounds of tea are small, and that is their strength. They do not pull attention outward. They gently hold it close. In a world filled with sharp alerts and constant noise, Tea offers a different auditory experience, one that unfolds quietly, predictably, without demand. And in listening to it, even without realizing it, the nervous system learns that it is safe to be still for a moment longer, just long enough to rest inside the sound of water, warmth, and waiting. Tea has a quiet way of being present without asking anything in return. It does not interrupt. It does not expect conversation. It simply stays. This is part of why tea has often been described as a companion rather than a focus. It can be shared, but it does not require sharing. It can be enjoyed alone, without that aloneness turning into loneliness. Many activities in daily life demand engagement. They ask for attention, reaction, participation. Tea does not. A cup of tea can sit beside you while you read, while you think, while you do nothing at all. Its presence fills space gently, without pressure. For people who value quiet, tea offers something rare. Company without demand. The warmth of the cup is there. The aroma drifts softly. The liquid waits. There is no need to respond to it. This non-demanding presence is regulating. The nervous system relaxes when it is not required to perform. Tea supports this state simply by being there. Drinking tea alone does not feel like absence. It feels complete. This is because tea provides sensory engagement without social obligation. The hands are occupied. The senses are engaged. There is something to hold, something to sip, something to return to. This prevents the mind from reaching outward in search of stimulation. Tea becomes a grounding anchor. Unlike devices or media, tea does not pull attention forward. It does not scroll. It does not refresh. It remains the same from moment to moment. This consistency allows attention to settle inward rather than outward. Tea also has no narrative. It does not tell a story. It does not progress toward an ending. You can stop and start without consequence. This lack of structure allows tea to fit into moments that are undefined. Waiting, thinking, resting. Tea does not ask what you are doing. It supports whatever you are doing. Emotionally, tea occupies a neutral space. It is not celebratory like alcohol. It is not stimulating like coffee. It does not push mood in any direction. This neutrality makes it especially comforting during uncertain or quiet moments. When emotions are unsettled, when there is nothing to fix. Tea does not amplify feelings, it holds them. For many people, tea becomes associated with safety simply through repetition. It appears during moments of stress, during illness, during long evenings. Over time, the brain links tea with containment, a small, reliable comfort. This association strengthens with age and repetition. The same cup, the same preparation, the same warmth. Familiarity replaces novelty, and familiarity is calming. Tea also allows for shared silence. When tea is shared between people, conversation is optional. There is something else to attend to. Silence feels natural rather than awkward. The cup gives permission not to speak. This quality extends to solitude as well. When alone with tea, there is no expectation to fill the space. Tea does not judge quiet. It belongs in quiet. This is why tea appears in moments of reflection, early mornings, late nights. transitions between parts of the day. It marks time without rushing it. Tea as a companion does not distract from thought. It softens it. Thoughts can pass without being grabbed. There is always the next sip to return to. This gentle return grounds attention repeatedly. Tea does not require that you feel a certain way to drink it. Happy, tired, neutral. It adapts to the state you are already in. This adaptability is key. Many comforts depend on mood. Tea does not. It can accompany sadness without trying to fix it. It can accompany calm without disturbing it. Tea's role as companion is not dramatic. It does not create moments. It supports them. It stays in the background. Reliable, unchanging. And because it asks for nothing, it gives something rare. A sense of being accompanied without being observed. In a world where attention is constantly requested, tea offers presence without expectation. A quiet object, a warm weight in the hands, a small ritual that does not require explanation. Tea does not replace connection. It does not compete with it. It simply reminds the body and the mind that it is possible to be with something steady, familiar, and calm, even alone, especially alone. And in that gentle companionship, there is often enough. And so, the tea remains. After the leaves have been steeped, after the cup has been emptied, after the sound of water fades back into quiet, tea does not conclude. It continues. Somewhere right now, water is heating. Somewhere, leaves are resting in a cup, slowly releasing what they hold. Someone is waiting without hurry. Tea exists whether it is noticed or not, whether it is named or explained, whether it is shared or held alone. It does not depend on attention. It does not ask to be remembered. It simply waits. Long after this moment passes, tea will still be there, on shelves, on tables, in familiar cups that know the shape of your hands. The next cup does not need planning. It will arrive when it does, later tonight, tomorrow morning, another quiet afternoon. There is no need to carry anything forward from here. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to finish. Like tea itself, this moment does not need a conclusion, only a soft release. If your eyes have grown heavy, you can let them close. If your thoughts have slowed, you can let them drift. If you are still awake, that is fine too. Tea does not rush sleep. It allows rest to arrive in its own way. The warmth fades gently. The day loosens. The night opens. And somewhere beyond this moment, the leaves will steep again. Quietly, patiently, as they always have. Good night, friend.